Hey family, on November 20th through December 1st, 2022, we will have the all-inclusive Kenya trip. Now, a lot of times people have said, hey, Phil, when's the next trip we'd like to go? I want to see Africa for myself, but this is the time to go. Everything will be taken care of. All excursions are paid. You can do monthly payments. You know, they'll have safari and a 6-city tour. You will see Charlie Island, which is something that we did not see last time on the tour. This tour will be 12 days instead of 7 days. So make sure to secure your place on the trip by going to www.wbsvs.com, make your deposit, and then you can start making your payments, and we'll see you in Kenya. So more than 24 members of a white supremacist group near a Northern Idaho Pride event, including one identified as its founder. It said on Sunday, it said the polarization and the fraud political climate and putting their community at increasingly risk. It said the 31 Patriot Front members were arrested with riot gear. It said after the tips reported seeing people loading up into a U-Haul like a little army. It said a hotel parking lot. It said in Coeur d'Alene. It said Idaho. It said police said they among those booked into jail on misdemeanor charges of conspiracy to riot. It said it was Thomas Ryan Rousseau of Grapevine, Texas, who'd been identified at the Southern Poverty Law Center as a 23-year-old who founded the group after the deadly Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017. No attorney was immediately listed for him, and phone numbers associated with him went unanswered Sunday. Also among the arrests was Michael F. Wagner, 24, of Florissant, Missouri, who was previously charged with defacing a mural of a famous black American on a college campus in St. Louis last year. It said Michael Keatley. It said Wagner's attorney said that he had not been provided information about the charge. He said Patriot Front did not have a reputation for violence. It said in that case, it could be a First Amendment issue. It said if you don't like the speech, they have the right to make it. It said Patriot Front is a white supremacist neo-Nazi group whose members perceive black Americans, Jews, and LGBT people as enemies. Said John Lewis, of George Washington University, a researcher specialized in homegrown violent extremism. He said their playbook involves identifying local grievances to exploit, organizing on platforms like Messenger app, Telegram, and ultimately showing up to events, marching. In blue and white collared shirt uniforms and display. Of weakness because they're weak. Now, if you look at how they were dressed, it's the same kind of dress to a point like Peyton Gendron. Those tan pants, tan shoes, now they trying to cover their face up and all of that, but they got them all there. Now, most people say, well, why because you're always going to have some people to say this. Why am I covering this story? They didn't do anything to black people. Today they didn't. Today. And you need to know who these white supremacists are. You need to know their names or their groups. You need to know this. You need to know ahead of time who these people are. And the police in the video, they look like they really didn't want to arrest them white supremacists. They look like, man, I got to arrest them. I really don't want to, but I kind of got to. That's the same attitude they had with Peyton Gendron. They didn't want to arrest him, not whatsoever. So when these white supremacist groups come up, like I said, you better know who these white supremacist groups are. You better know. Because the problem with black folk is that you always finding out after something bad happened, instead of knowing who these white supremacists are ahead of time. You need to know. Knowing who the white supremacists are is life and death for black folk. I mean, have you realized that by now? So some of you with that silly, thing, well, it ain't had nothing to do with us. It ain't do nothing to us. Why are we talking about it? That's why, you always stuck behind. That's why. Because people that is forward thinking, that's the people that's going to be your most successful people. That's the people that's going to be ahead of the curve. That's the people that's going to protect themselves. It's because they're always making sure to look out for whoever the threat is to definitely black America or to whoever country or whatever. Nobody waits till somebody do something to find out about it. No, you should always be ahead. But remember that name, Patriot Front. Now, this is not the first time they was out here. They was also out a few years ago trying to march in, I think it was Philadelphia, but what ended up happening over there, the brothers went over there and handled that. And they got ran up off the block last time. So they say, well, let's not go over there to Philadelphia. See, that's why they don't want that smoke. They don't want that at all. That's why when they want to go do some sort of terror attack, they're going to go to a grocery store or school or something like that because they don't want nobody whatsoever challenging them. Now they talking about reclaim America on their shirts and all of that. Ain't nobody. You ain't reclaiming crap. You ain't reclaiming a freaking thing. America is fundamentally changing, is demographically changing, and you're just going to have to get used to it. Or if you don't like it, there are planes leaving multiple airports daily that could take you to a great European nation. And you can live in countries where the black population is non-existent or just maybe this minimal. That is actually the right thing for people like that to do. I don't understand why white supremacists want to be here in a melting pot. You should want to go with your people and have a good life in Europe. That is a great decision you could make for yourself. Because here, you're not reclaiming crap. But leave me a comment, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think about this particular story here. And make sure, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, sign up for the Kenya trip. We'll be heading to Kenya actually in November. And November is actually their summer. So you'll be going to the beach and going to different excursions and things like that. I mean, in the pinned comment at the bottom down there, you can click it. You can find out everything that's going to go on. We'll have a special dinner as well. And, you can meet me and have a conversation with me. And, definitely it's a great place to meet people. It's on the African continent. It's a beautiful thing. So make sure if you have signed up, make sure, like I said, to, pay your payments in a timely manner on time. But yeah, just try it. Like I always tell people, go to the African continent at least once in your life. At least once. I say that way if you don't like something or whatever, you say, hey, at least you win. Because black folks, we have a bad habit of never leaving our neighborhood, never leaving our state. And then we end up passing away and don't see nothing in life. So sign up for that tour. It'd be great to see you.
Is it hard to access affordable, healthy food? Then listen carefully. Daryl Addison, an African-American inventor, has patented a process for growing food on demand. He called it Torpedo Pot. Torpedo Pot is a fully automated flower pot that gives you control over your plant's environment. All you do is add soil, seeds, and plants to the flower pot and watch it grow. Yes, Torpedo Pot grows the rest. Visit www.torpedopot.com